All right, guys, so let's take a look here. So this is the assignment, right? So you're going to read these 2 points that I've made right here, okay? So this poem has a very strong, sarcastic tone. She's talking about all the things that war does to people in society, and she's mentioning all the very negative parts of war, but talking about them as if they are good, right? Because war does all of these very negative things so well, right? Let's look at this first highlighted sentence. How magnificent the war is, how eager and efficient. Early in the morning, it wakes up the sirens and dispatches ambulances to various places, swings corpses through the air, rolls stretchers to the wounded, summons rain from the eyes of mothers. Okay, so the author here starts by saying how eager and efficient, right? Whenever somebody calls somebody or something eager and efficient, those are positive traits, right? But the eagerness and efficientness of the war is talking about waking up sirens and sending ambulances, right? Those are bad things. That means cops are having to go somewhere. That means people are calling 911, right, for help. It's swinging corpses through the air, right? That's dead bodies. Summoning rain from the eyes of mothers, right? What does that sound like? Rain from the eyes of mothers, okay? It's not super happy imagery there, right? So something else that Mikhail does very strongly throughout this whole poem is she's using personification. Okay, so she's giving human characteristics or qualities to this abstract idea of war, right? She's talking about war being able to do all of these things, right? When war itself literally cannot do these things, but it is doing them in a way, right? So it wakes up, it's swinging, right? It's summoning, it produces, it entertains the gods by shooting fireworks and missiles into the skies, right? That's one of my favorite lines from this poem, because I could just imagine that in my brain. You know, it's almost like fireworks going off in the sky, but it's planes crashing, right? It's bombs going off. Uh, so some very vivid imagery there. So down a little bit farther, it urges families to immigrate, right? Immigrate is to leave. So whenever we've been fortunate as America not to have a war on our soil since our Civil War, but imagine all the countries that do. Okay, when those countries are in war with one another, families are wanting to leave and get out of there. So the war itself is urging those families to immigrate. The war continues working day and night. It inspires tyrants to deliver long speeches, awards medals to generals, and themes to poets, right? So themes is stuff to talk about, right? So whenever a city or a civilization is going through something really hard, now we can write poems, we can write songs about it, right? I guarantee after all this coronavirus stuff is moving forward a little bit, we're going to see it in pop culture. It's going to come up as themes, as ideas, right? That we're going to be able to now talk about because it's a shared experience, okay? And this line right here is just very strong for me, right? It contributes to the industry of artificial limbs, provides food for flies, right? What do flies usually hover around, right? Adds pages to history books, achieves equality between killer and killed, teaches lovers to write letters, accustoms young women to waiting, fills the newspaper with articles and pictures, builds new houses for orphans, invigorates the coffin makers, gives grave diggers a pat on the back, and paints a smile on the leader's face. right? So this is the second time now that our poet has mentioned the leader, right? First as a tyrant giving long speeches, right? Whenever there's any sort of crisis going on, right? The leaders have to step up, right? Before this, some of you may not even have known who our governor was, right? But now you know because he's on TV pretty often. So she's mentioning these leaders because they become a lot more prominent when something's going on, especially something as serious as war, right? The war works with unparalleled diligence, yet no one gives it a word of praise, right? So here are the 6 questions that you're going to answer, right? So what do the highlighted parts of the text all have in common? Okay, so you're going to go back through and try to figure out, why did I choose to highlight these things? Maybe focus on the one-worders. Okay, what do all of those have in common? The second question is, find 2 pieces of evidence from the poem that proves, right? There should be an S there. That proves the author is using a sarcastic tone, right? So I told you there's a sarcastic tone. Now I want you to go in and find 2 examples that prove that statement is true, okay? Question 3 says, what is one negative thing that the author speaks about positively? Okay, so going in and finding that one contradictory image, okay, where we're talking about somebody dying, but we're talking about it not that the death is a good thing, but that war does it so well, right? So find one specific example of that. Question 4, why do you think Mikhail is speaking about war sarcastically? Okay, how does she actually feel about it based on this, okay? Question 5, what image is the author trying to paint in your brain? So the way I would answer this question is I would go up and I would find one part that I really like, okay? And I would reread it. So for me, I might do this part right here. It contributes to the industry of artificial limbs, provides food for flies, and pages in the history books, okay? So I might take that and then in 2 or 3 sentences, write, what am I picturing in my brain, right? Just write 2 or 3 sentences. No right or wrong answers here, right? You're practicing that. Whenever we read something, we get a picture in our head so that then we understand it and see it better, okay? And then question 6, how does this imagery contribute to the sarcastic tone? So you're taking whatever image you chose to talk about here, and you're going to tell me, how is this contributing to that overall sarcastic tone, okay? All right, so this is your assignment. Go through and work on it. Take your time with it. But there is one more thing I want to show you here in this video, okay? So this is what my page looks like, right? I wish I could see what you guys' side looks like. Maybe something similar. But, so, if you are having, you can go to the assignments tab, right? And then if you can see everybody should be able to see the assignment, right? But whether or not you can write in it may be a different story. If you pull it up, read it, and then realize, oh, I can't write in this, or, oh, I'm not going to be able to reattach this, that's okay, right? So what you're going to do is go over here to your channels, War Works Hard channel, and you're going to see that I actually posted the entire assignment. I just copied and pasted it into an announcement, okay? So if you're having trouble with that assignments tab, as so many people are, so do not feel bad if that is your case, you're going to come down here, you're going to start a new conversation, okay? And your name pops up. So then how you're going to answer is, I want you to do 1, type your answer, right? 2, type your answer, okay? 3, type your answer. Make sure that you put those numbers. Make sure that you are writing in full and complete sentences. And whenever it says to write 1 to 3 sentences, make sure that you at least do that, right? That is what I'll be checking you for here. If it says to give a piece of evidence, like question 2 does, find 2 pieces of evidence. So for question 2, I might answer it like this, put my evidence in, leave a space, put my evidence in, right? Like that, okay? All right. So, and then once you're done, you're just going to post it here. Make sure if you are doing this assignment later and you see other people have posted, I would work on yours first. And then if you have some trouble, go back and read other people's that you see, but do yours first so that I have no reason to think that you just sort of copy and pasted someone else's. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope this works out for you and that over the weekend, Microsoft gets all these little glitches figured out, right? And that we can um, move forward, okay? One more thing here, real quick. I know many of you have already emailed me or shared an assignment. That is totally fine if you've already done that. But if you haven't, try not to do that just because emails. I'm getting a ton of emails from the school every day and other teachers, and I just don't want yours to get lost in there. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I will talk to you very soon, and I'm going to start doing more of these kind of videos with every assignment so that you can hear my voice and hear me explain it the way you are used to in class. All right. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.